Hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Thule OutPace Bike Rack on the back of our 2017 Buick Enclave. Now, this is going to be a solid choice if you're looking for a rack that's going to be super compact and will work for a lot of different bikes and look really nice back here. And what's really nice about this is when you're not using it, you can actually fold that shank completely into the rest of this, and it's going to take up a very small footprint in your garage, apartment, or even in the back of your vehicle. But let's really focus on how the rack's going to interact with the vehicle today. So right now with our bike here, if I go to shake this around, you can tell we're nowhere close to even making contact with our vehicle. So this is going to be great even if you're on some bumpy roads. Now we're not far enough where we can open up our hatch, so if we want hatch access, I'm going to tilt this back. The way I can do that is just by coming to the back of it, and we're going to have this rubber cable here. You just pull up on it, lift it a little bit on your rack, and pull it back. Super easy process, and since we do have a larger lift gate, typically this might make contact with a bike, but in our case today, we're in the clear. And this is going to be great if you need to put away any groceries, or if you want to get ready for your ride by tying your shoes, or even grabbing your helmet. Then we can close that up, put this back into the seated position. And this really isn't going to feel too heavy. Now you can have bikes upwards to 55 pounds per bike, so it can even accommodate those smaller e-bikes. But if we're going to take a closer look at it, I want to remove my bike. So we're going to have a strap for a tire, and that's what kind of gives it a really good hold. Any bike rack that has a strap on both tires, it really doesn't move too much. And the way those straps work is they're going to have a ratcheting device built into them, so you can get this extra tight. Now with that out of the way, we can move over to the center mass. The way this one's working is it's going to be another strap. It also has a lock core and that same ratcheting device. I personally like that lock core because it gives you that extra security. Now I will say, since we are making frame contact, in some cases people will still use these with carbon frame bikes since we're not putting a lot of pressure on here. But if you have anything with a nicer paint job, then definitely look into something that's not going to make frame contact. If you're in that case, then I'd actually recommend the Thule Epos because it's going to work pretty similar to this one. But it can actually make contact with the tire instead. Now, with the way this is working here, how we can put it up is we have a couple options. First, let me put this strap back into place. And I can just put this arm down. Now, with that arm down, I could pull each one of these cradles in like this, and this can be very compact. Now, this is great when you have it stored in your garage and you fold that shank up. But when I have it in my vehicle, I actually typically don't recommend that. And I'll show you why in a second. First, let me put up these straps so it looks a little bit nicer. And then I can get you guys a couple measurements. Now the first measurement I'm going to get is going to be the ground clearance. And already right here, you can tell this is going to sit up pretty high. So let me grab it. This is going to be sitting at about 30.5 inches, so nowhere close to making contact with the ground, even with those heavier e-bikes back here. Now the next one I want to get is the total distance away, and this is going to be sitting at a little bit over 26 inches. Pretty compact for a 2 bike rack. I will say sometimes when you have 2 larger mountain bikes on here, you do notice how tight it is because those handlebars might want to make contact with one another, but if you just shift them around a little bit, in most cases they should fit. We've tried it a few times and we're pretty successful. But we can save some space even from here if there's no bikes on here. All you gotta do is pull on this rubber cable again and push up. Now when you're pushing up, you just need to make sure everything is completely flush. So I might rotate these clamps a bit and have it there. And we're just barely clear making contact in our case today. But with it in this position, we're not really blocking much. So our license plate is going to be blocked. Now with your backup camera, you're probably going to pick up some of the stuff. But I'd recommend mainly using your back window or your mirror since it will still block it some. but your taillights won't be blocked. Now, for how this is going to install, we're going to have a 1.25" shank that goes into our 2-inch hitch receiver. The way we're able to do that is because we have this 2-inch sleeve adapter that comes with this. But this will also work with 1.25" receivers. And then on the other side, we're going to have a hook that's built into the rack that goes into that pinhole, so you don't have to worry about losing a pin or keeping track of it. And here on the back, we're going to have this lever. We're going to have a key here. That's going to be key to like with that other lock that I was showing you earlier. But this has the ability to pull out. What you can do with this knob is use it to tighten this into place, so you don't get any rattle when you're driving on the road. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a great rack for anyone trying to save space, especially with how compact it is. I actually forgot to give you guys that measurement right here. That's going to be barely over 8 inches on the back of the vehicle. It doesn't get much more compact than that. The other benefit of it is it's super light and easy to carry around when you're not using it. Now, if you're looking for something, like I said, you don't want to make in frame contact, then I'd recommend the Thule Epos, because it also has a weight capacity of 80 pounds per bike, or can hold those really heavy e-bikes. Actually, 70 pounds per bike. Don't want to get that mixed up. But what's really nice about this one compared to that is it's going to have a smaller footprint in comparison. But if you guys have any other questions, please let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.